Hi, everyone. Joining me today is Tyler Smith, Executive Director of Healthy Buildings at Johnson Controls. Tyler, welcome to Healthy Air.
Great to be here, Eric. Thanks for having me.
So I want to provide our listeners with a brief background on Tyler to provide context for our conversation. Tyler Smith is the Executive Director of Healthy Buildings at Johnson Controls. Tyler has spent over 15 years with Johnson Controls in roles focused on leveraging building management systems and HVAC equipment to drive important outcomes such as improvements, energy efficiency, and indoor air quality. From 2018 to 2020, Tyler led Johnson Controls' Critical Environments business unit, which designs and manufactures systems for critical spaces such as hospitals and laboratories. Since spring 2020, Tyler has been instrumental in leading Johnson Controls' COVID-19 response with a focus on helping our customers open and operate healthy buildings. All right, Tyler, so you've had an impressive 16-year run at Johnson Controls, starting as a project engineer coming out of college and then working in a variety of engineering, sales, and general management roles along the way. What prompted you to join Johnson Controls, and what has kept you there after all these years?
Yeah, great question, and one that I'm proud to talk about, Eric. I joined out of undergrad mechanical engineering school in Atlanta in 2005, actually a predecessor company to Johnson Controls called York International. And your listeners may be familiar with the York brand. It's a relatively common residential and commercial air conditioning company. About 2 months after I joined, Johnson announced the acquisition of York. So I've always considered myself a Johnson Controls, employee from day one. And it's been a really fun 16-year ride. I think what has kept me in the game and kept me so engaged and excited about working for Johnson Controls is how on the bleeding edge of our industry our company has stayed. And I've gotten a lot of really cool opportunities to bounce around within the business to various groups that are doing fun, exciting, and leading edge work. And that really brings us to today with the opportunity in clean and healthy air and healthy buildings.
Cool. Well, so give us a sense of the scope and scale of Johnson Controls' overall business, which is huge, and then specifically the healthy buildings business that you're now leading.
Yeah, absolutely. Johnson Controls has been around since the mid 1880s, so a pretty long run. The current structure of the business, roughly $30 billion or so in annual revenue. It is all around the built environment and buildings. We've got global presence, nearly every country in the globe. And we go to market through independent channel partners, distributors, contractors, et cetera. And also primarily through a global company-owned branch network. We're in every aspect of the building for the most part. Our primary core products are HVAC equipment, building automation, and digital capabilities. Healthy Buildings fits in as part of our global services organization. And we can say that we've been in the healthy buildings business since the mid 1880s. But really, the business that I'm proud to lead is an opportunity coming out of the pandemic, where we've got a new set of outcomes that our customers are focused on. We've got pain points and challenges and opportunities that maybe didn't exist previously or existed in a different incarnation previously. And so we created this Healthy Buildings business within our global services organization back in December to help centralize and consolidate our strategy and to really drive some clarity and focus and structure around helping our customers operate healthier buildings.
So what specific services are offered under Healthy Buildings in Johnson Controls?
Well, it is pretty broad, a really broad set of capabilities, actually. We group them into three, what we call pillars. And that's healthy people, healthy places, and healthy planet. And by leveraging those three pillars, we really help in not only connecting our capabilities externally with our customers, but also provide some guardrails to future development that we do within healthy buildings. So within the healthy people pillar, there's a lot of, as you may imagine, health, wellness, productivity outcomes that we have solutions that are catered toward. This is where our healthy air, clean air solutions would fall. And just a quick aside on our clean air solution, really five or six main components of how we approach clean air through assessments, remediation, ventilation, filtration, disinfection, and isolation, monitoring, maintenance, service. Just a really nice broad approach that we have to helping our customers with their indoor environmental quality needs. And then secondly, with healthy places, that's about asset optimization, asset security, physical security. We've got an incredibly broad security and access control and digital set of capabilities that fall within that pillar. And then finally, with Healthy Planet, this is all about sustainability and carbon neutrality and energy optimization, et cetera. And with our HVAC equipment business, as well as our digital businesses, we've got a really nice broad set of solutions that enable our customers to be good stewards of their stakeholders and of their environment. So simultaneously meeting healthy buildings objectives while also hitting ESG targets.
So you mentioned that Johnson Controls has been in the healthy buildings business since the founding of the company, but it seems like the pandemic kind of triggered you reorganizing into a focused business unit. So talk about that, of what kind of prompted. Was it the pandemic, or was this something that was in motion before? And then within the marketplace, how does Johnson Controls and its overall business unit and offerings compare against a lot of other healthy buildings offerings within competitors in your space, and then also in a broader set of various products and services?
Yeah, sure. Great questions. As you acknowledged, our focus on helping our customers operate healthy buildings goes way back. Specifically energy optimization, clean air delivery, indoor air quality. Those are notions that existed for years pre-pandemic. I would say the impact that the pandemic has had on us is a realization of changes in, and I hinted at this earlier, desired outcomes from our customers, business drivers for our customers, pain points and challenges that have either arisen because of the pandemic and we expect to exist for years beyond, or have taken on new life and new meaning. And, for us, that just really forced us to step back and rethink and acknowledge the opportunity and really the responsibility that we have to leverage all of the vast capabilities, products, services, et cetera, in this newly formed healthy buildings business. So it was founded late 2020. And, a lot of what led up to that was pandemic related. I'll acknowledge that. But the deeper that we got into it, the more we realized that the focus here, the outcomes that we're developing solutions and deploying solutions for are going to exist well beyond the end of the pandemic. We truly expect for a focus on operating a healthier building, focus on delivering healthier air into buildings, and the outcomes that drives, like productivity, et cetera, are going to sustain the buildings business for years and probably decades to come. Of course, all day long, I'm going to sing the praises of our people and our products and our capabilities. I think that we, of course, if you look globally, have a really broad, and I would argue the broadest set of capabilities. And I really want to harp on the breadth of our footprint and of our people. We've got some really cool products, but it's all for naught if we don't have that good network of both company-owned offices and Johnson Controls employees, as well as good third-party channel partners. And it's really there with our people that I feel like we differentiate ourselves from our competition and bring that added level, that next level of value that really leads to that long-term trusted advisor partnership that we seek out.
Mm-hmm. So it's only been, December was 5 months ago. So it'd be great to kind of get a sense from you of what have you accomplished? What have been some of the key milestones in the short kind of or young life of the business? And then where are you headed in the future? You know, what is the strategy for healthy buildings at Johnson Controls, and where do you see that the focus areas being?
Yeah, absolutely. And although the business that I'm very honored to lead is only roughly 5 months old at this point, our focus on helping our customers recover from, reopen, re-enter, et cetera, buildings due to the pandemic starts from day one. And I think one of the earliest milestones and accomplishments that we are most proud of at JCI is our involvement in propping up field hospitals. We did that globally during the early days of the pandemic, and we're especially involved in the efforts in Wuhan, the epicenter of the outbreak, and have a lot of really cool examples like that one of where we stepped in and under a really tight time crunch, we're able to leverage that network that I hinted at a few minutes ago, and our products and our services to help our customers immediately react to the pandemic. And then from there, just really proud of our early command of the science of infection control and how we pivoted from, from maybe talking about products to, like, in the first couple of weeks, recognizing that the opportunity is around that trusted advisor approach and demonstrating to our clients that we're not there just to sell a HEPA filter. We're not there just to sell a UV light. We're there to arm in arm partner with them to understand what's going on within their building. And it's an understanding building science, it's an understanding infection control science that we're able to really refine our approach, our solutions, our engagement model with our clients, and really set that development roadmap in motion. And I mentioned it earlier, but that approach of ventilation and filtration as being the 1-2 punch that we always go to. We're excited, kind of looking back on the last 13 to 14 months, that so many firms like yours, government bodies, CDC, ASHRAE, WHO, EPA, et cetera, have really coalesced around, you can't get past this, and you can't harden your facility. You can't create that level of resiliency, going forward without that focus on good ventilation and filtration best practices. Then outside of that, we're continuing to broaden our capabilities, our solution set. We've got a lot of really neat partnerships, new products that are coming down the pike. And I'm anxiously awaiting our fiscal 22, which starts October 1st, and just some really neat stuff that we're going to be coming out with over the next few months to prop us up for another successful year here.
Mm-hmm. So let's start diving into clean air strategies, and how you define those. So what are the foundations of clean air within Johnson Controls? And that you kind of already started talking about this, but yeah. What does that mean to you?
Well, the first thing that we educate our partners, our clients on is clean air doesn't just mean COVID-free air. I think the two have been used synonymously for all the good reasons. I mean, we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and we're still trying to figure out how to get people back into spaces. But by pivoting away from that analogy to, clean air is a good combination of well-ventilated, filtered, and in some cases disinfected air that helps our customers achieve certain outcomes that include the control of COVID-19 spread within a space, but are not limited to that. Because as we know, it's COVID-19 now, but it may be COVID-23 in 3 or 4 years. But present today are mold, mildew, bacteria, viruses, other things that are transmitted through the air within a building. And it's with those good clean air best practices that we can provide that broader trusted advisor partnership with our clients, help them realize the long-term value associated with implementing those good best practices, and really help bridge that gap, provide that arc from today to post-pandemic. Mm-hmm. So I'll hit it one more time. Although I said it a few minutes ago, for us, it always starts with a good indoor air quality, indoor environmental quality, in certain cases, assessment, understanding the building, understanding the use cases within that building, understanding other practices that the customer may have implemented, such as social distancing and mask wearing, leveraging all the infection control science that's out there, including the Wells-Riley equation, and other ways that we can, understand exactly how the air is flowing within a space, like with, your solution at SafeTraces. And then moving into layering on top of that building, based on the output of that assessment, the solutions that make sense for that client. It's going to be ventilation. It's going to be filtration. May include some type of supplementary air delivery through a portable HEPA filtration unit. May include some supplementary disinfection through UVC. But those are really the four phases of the solution implementation that we like to flow through with our clients. And then air, it shouldn't be a one-time event. We've got to have the right sensors in place to measure the right values. We've got to have a good automation system in place to make sure that we're doing something with the data that we're pulling back from the sensors. We've got to measure, monitor, maintain, optimize that really long-term value associated with a partnership with Johnson Controls. We want to make sure we apply that in our clean air work as well.
So one metric that seems foundational, and you kind of referenced, is the clean air delivery rate. Yeah. It'd be great if you could talk a little bit about what that is, and then also how are you measuring that in real world spaces, and are your customers generally hitting that or not, and how can they get to a point where they're delivering clean air at a rate where it's safe for people to be in there? Just that whole methodology is really interesting, so I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've developed some pretty cool tools at JCI to help us take those inputs that I talked about earlier and then output targets. And you mentioned clean air delivery rate. ASHRAE has recently been calling it the equivalent outdoor airflow rate. But it's all about leveraging the science, the Wells-Riley equation as a basis for calculating the right amount of air changes that a space needs to get the relative risk of infection within that space down below an acceptable threshold. And it's in finding that optimal point that we're able to set that clean air delivery rate or equivalent outdoor airflow rate target for a client. And through automation system like our Metasys building automation system, the right sensors, knowing when certain equipment is on and off, how long it operates, measuring certain values within the space, we're able to keep ourselves honest. And we've actually developed a really cool capability in Metasys where we have a graphic, a dashboard of sorts that allows us to plot out our clean air delivery rate target for a space. And then with the right inputs back into Metasys, output our performance against that target. And then we can do a lot of really cool things. Once we're at that point, we can set alarms, we can do cool long-term trending, we can do reporting against those values, and really hold ourselves and our client accountable to making sure that we're doing everything that we promised that we would in order to keep our infection risk down below that acceptable level.
Mm-hmm. So you've mentioned a lot of the strategies and various controls that are impactful and that move the needle. What strategies do you have more hesitations or doubts about? Because there's a lot of stuff out there right now. It's overwhelming to many people who are managing buildings to figure out what they should do. And it's not always clear that people are making good decisions about what they're choosing to prioritize and what they're not. So it'd be interesting to hear kind of one or two strategies where you think there's not enough data or science to support it, or where you see people kind of relying on something more than they should. So beyond the health and safety benefit, there's a huge financial component to this, both in terms of the costs of implementing various clean air and healthy building strategies, but also the ROI of what someone can expect to get back from that cost. And how do you guys explain that to your customers? And, being candid, do people buy it? Are people understanding that this, while it may lead to cost now, is going to pay itself back? And has the pandemic kind of changed how people are looking at this area?
I think that is a constantly evolving question, Eric, and one for which I'll give you my answer today, but it may change when we get back on the line in a few months and do this again. We're thankful in the U.S. and in certain regions globally that there are funds, relief and stimulus funds being made available that are helping some of our clients overcome the how can I afford to make this happen question. There are really three cool ways that we're helping our customers. One is by implementing other energy savings projects for our clients, we can help unlock budget that may not be there otherwise to spend money in these places where they may be wary to because of the cost impact, because of the energy penalty associated with them. Second way we're helping our customers approach this is through optimization. And we've got some really cool solutions around finding that nice optimal point between delivering on our clean air delivery rate and infection control objectives and spending the right amount of energy to do so. And then the third way we're approaching this, and this is really cool and really fresh for us, is helping our customers understand the productivity gains associated with operating a healthier building. And that includes clean air, it includes healthy air, but it's much broader than that. It's that full indoor environmental quality approach that we should all be taking. And through leveraging gains, lift, and productivity, we can impact their bottom line and definitely offset costs that they may have incurred elsewhere. And we really expect that focus on productivity is going to be a long-term driver for us, for our industry, and is really going to unlock additional hidden value in making these healthy buildings and healthy air investments that our customers may not have otherwise seen.
Mm-hmm. So just getting some feedback from the front lines, because you and your team are out in many, many buildings and you're seeing what's going on. You're talking to people responsible for operating those buildings, the owners of those buildings, everyone who's in those buildings. So if you're a building owner or operator, what's keeping you up? And specifically now, as we're about to embark on a major reopening, return to work, are you feeling good if you're a building owner or operator about bringing people back into your building? Like in terms of the entirety of that question, are they going to be safe, versus right now many buildings have been vacant and that has created its own concern. So what are you hearing from your customers who are, living, owning, operating these buildings in terms of what their concerns are?
Absolutely. We're hearing the full gamut from clients who have a really good command through, we hope a partnership with us of what's actually happening within their building, and those levers that they can actually pull that are grounded in science to help them deliver clean air, those health and wellness objectives for their stakeholders. We're finding that being very outward in their advertisement and marketing of those investments that they're making is important to nearly all of our clients. It's helpful when you can see and touch exactly what's being done within a space. And so we've got a lot of clients coming to us asking for recommendations on how they can make a parent make aware these potentially complex, scientific approaches to delivering clean air, or solutions that they may have installed that are hidden behind a wall or above a ceiling or in an automation system somewhere. And just really trying to zero in on how they can drive home that this is a healthy building, a safe building for them to walk back into. And then maybe all the way kind of, towards the middle and other end of that spectrum, we've got a lot of clients who are still coming to us for help, just trying to understand what levers they should pull. Maybe haven't been as deep into the science as some others have. Maybe are hearing some misinformation out there on the internet or wherever else they're getting their news. And that's really where we get excited, because we know that through a nice, clean, simple command of infection control science, we can step in and educate, open eyes, and very quickly help our customers understand what it is they should be doing, what it is they should be investing in to help ensure the health and safety and wellness of their stakeholders. Mm-hmm. It's a incredibly complex quagmire that we're all finding ourselves in right now. And that facility leader is maybe in a more difficult position than she or he will ever find themselves in their career. I completely empathize with them. And we're really trying to take this as a responsibility that we as Johnson Controls have through our people and our capabilities and our understanding of the science to partner with our clients and go arm in arm with them, be empathetic, be understanding, and really leverage what we can bring as a responsibility that we have to society as a whole. We're parents, we're husbands and wives, and we are stakeholders ourselves, maybe patients at hospitals or office workers trying to get back into an office ourselves. And so we get it. And that's, I know I said this at the top of the call, but that's really what has really kept me so excited and engaged, especially as we formed this Healthy Buildings business 5 months ago, is that responsibility that we have to society, given the position that we're in at Johnson Controls.
Mm-hmm. So Johnson Controls has a very partnership-centric model in healthy buildings, including a big one that you announced earlier today at the time of this recording with the International Well Building Institute. So talk to us a little bit about where you pursue partnerships and why they're important, and where do you think about partnering versus doing something yourself?
Yeah, we are completely open-minded. We are not foolish on what it takes to get new solutions to market, especially when time is of the essence. And so from day one of our approach to helping our customers respond to the pandemic and reopen or keep open their spaces, we have placed a lot of value on our partnership model, on our strategic partnerships, our ecosystem, our Healthy Buildings ecosystem, because there's a lot of really capable solution providers out there, whether it's a service or a product, that have been doing this for a long time, have something that would fill an important gap in our offering. And we're not shy about acknowledging that some people may have figured it out better or quicker than we have. Now, granted, we've been doing this for a long time too, and we've got an incredibly broad portfolio of HVAC equipment, controls, digital solutions, access control solutions, fire solutions, you name it, globally. And so it's really in that nice marriage of things that we've been great at for a long time across this broad portfolio, solutions that we were able to innovate pretty quickly in response to the pandemic. And then these absolutely critical third-party ecosystem partnerships that we formed that have helped us assemble this incredibly robust portfolio that we're partnering with our clients on today. And we're continuing to, as we look forward into finishing out our fiscal 21 and into fiscal 22, continuing to place a really strong, important emphasis on the value of those partnerships going forward. And we're not stopping. We're going to continue to be very aggressive there and honest with ourselves on where we have gaps in our product and services roadmap, and looking both internally at what we have and externally at what's out there to help us fill those gaps.
So one piece of the partnership ecosystem, or in some cases getting into your core products and solutions, is technology. Obviously, as a technology company at SafeTraces, we're very interested in this. So how does technology factor into your overall business strategy and model? And then what technologies are most valuable and important to you today and over the next couple of years?
Great question. The first technology, and maybe the one where I'll spend all my time, that comes to mind is our digital capabilities. The smart building movement has been around for some time, but we see a digitally connected building as really key to helping our customers unlock the full value of operating a healthy building. So we're placing a ton of emphasis on our digital solutions. We're a digital leader pre-pandemic, and we're definitely emerging as one that is leading the industry in leveraging our digital capabilities, whether it's digital twinning, artificial intelligence, machine learning, you name it, as a means of helping our customers achieve their healthy buildings outcomes. So we've got a lot of development in play there right now. We've got a lot of really important strategic partnerships on the digital side of our business as well. And we're really excited about that marriage between a smart building and a healthy building through that digital backbone, and what that's going to mean for our clients going forward, the value that it's going to unlock for our clients going forward, and really just helping them realize that full art of the possible when you've got that digital backbone in place.
So looking out over the next 5 to 10 years, how do you see buildings evolving, and what do you think are going to be the drivers of the changes that you see happening?
That's a really cool question. I think we're all trying to grapple with, what does reoccupying a building mean across the globe? How are our customers going to react as they reopen and invite workers or students or staff back? How does that impact occupancy models? What's this hybrid work model of the future going to look like? How does that impact the building's business? This notion also of a third place. You've got your office, you've got your home, and you've got the coffee shop or the library where you go work as well. And I really think that that's the trend that's going to impact the innovation and the technology development within buildings over the next 5 to 10 years. It's just understanding how people are going to work differently, thanks to what's happened to us over the last 13 to 14 months, thanks to what we've learned because of what's happened to us over the last 13 to 14 months. And all of our innovation, all of our road mapping, all of our strategic partnership development should be driven by an understanding of how that new hybrid work model is going to impact our customers going forward. So yeah, that's really where my brain goes, Eric, when I think about those trends that are going to sustain us for the next decade or so.
So within your space of healthy buildings, there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of innovation, lots of changes, extremely dynamic and complex. How do you stay on top of the pulse of what's going on in the market? Who are you reading? Who are you talking to? Whose opinion do you really value? And how do you keep yourself abreast of all the many things that are going on that you need to be on top of?
Well, as you rightfully acknowledged, there is a lot of really cool research that's being done right now, books that have been written, researchers that have bubbled up to the surface as a really good voice of the industry, advocate for our clients and for us. So I'll admit that I'm still trying to get my arms around the best way to keep tabs on everything. But I found to just really trust the scientific community. We've got some researchers out there that are doing some really cool stuff in indoor air quality and indoor environmental quality as well. Some of whom we're partnered with as well at Johnson Controls. And really exciting to see the work that's being done out there to advocate for good, scientifically sound solutions for our clients. So keeping tabs on them, keeping tabs on the other researchers that have written some neat books here recently, and just every day trying to make sure I'm casting a wide enough net, and then internally at Johnson Controls advocating for those other thought leaders in the business to cast wide nets as well, to make sure that we're keeping our finger on the pulse of everything that's evolving here.
Well, this has been a fantastic discussion. Before we go here, I want to give you the floor with any parting thoughts or insights. So it's all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. And first, really appreciate the opportunity to join your podcast today and speak on behalf of the 105,000 employees globally that Johnson Controls has. And that's really where I'd like to end. Just a thank you to everyone out there. We've been all fighting our own battles over the last 13 to 14 months in different capacities. But the women and men who have been out there on the front lines, including not only technicians and others that work for Johnson Controls, but the medical community, first responders, et cetera, as well. Just a big thank you and acknowledgement for everything that everyone's doing. And then just a word of encouragement that we're learning so much cool stuff about what it means to operate, to build and operate, maintain a good, healthy, sustainable building. And I think we should all be incredibly excited about that. This has been a rough go at it for the last 13 to 14 months, but there's some really neat realizations that we've come to, science that's been accelerated, solutions that have been accelerated as well. And we're going to benefit from that from years to come. Society is going to benefit from that for years to come. So I think we should all be really optimistic going forward that we're going to take what we've learned, sometimes the hard way, and just deliver a set of healthy buildings outcomes that we never would have been able to deliver on before. And I'm really excited about what that's going to mean for our clients out there, the productivity gains that they're going to experience, the health and wellness, mental health, et cetera, gains that they're going to experience when they focus on leveraging all the good best practices that we've learned thanks to the pandemic.
Great. Well, great parting thoughts and great optimism on everything. So thanks so much, and look forward to being in touch and seeing all your progress.
Thank you so much, Eric. Have a great day.